It's so easy to get distracted in life, to get blown off course, to do something for so long that you forget why you were doing it in the first place. And it's so easy to do this when it comes to church, especially if you've been doing it a long time. It's easy to drift into becoming consumer Christians in a consumer church, where we spend all our time, our resources, our energy into making a weekly show to entertain Christians, to put something on which is just there to satisfy the tastes of church people. We live in a consumer society. It's easy to do it, to make church about me, my rights, my needs, my preferences. But when we do this, we forget what the church, what the house is for. Jesus puts it like this. Imagine you had 100 sheep and one of them became lost. What would your priorities now be? Would it be making the 99 comfortable? Or would your priorities change? Would you now do what you can to seek and save the one that is lost? Heaven is in relentless pursuit of the one. The question is, are we?
Well, my name is Joe. I come from Malta. I'm 71 years old. Everybody thinks that because I come from Malta, and I was baptized as a Roman Catholic before I even was 24 hours old, that I am actually a Catholic. But I wasn't. As time went on, I changed over and became an atheist. And I really was an atheist. God didn't exist. I still was struggling when I came to England, but I had a daughter, which he blessed me by. Her name is Anna. She believed in God, and she used to talk about it. But as respect to her father, she never enforced it. She mentioned it, she used to talk about it, but we still kept our differences. I still was an atheist, and she was a Catholic. I used to think, well, I love her, so even if she's bananas because she's Catholic, I still have to love her. I still have to respect her, because that's the way. My family is everything. I had 3 horses. One of them, her name was Bubbles. She was a big horse. She was stubborn, but she was lovely. He gave her to me for about 7 years before an incident happened. She was fine. She was strong, and there was never ever anything wrong with her. Then, on my grandson's birthday, which is the 11th of December, Bubbles went down and couldn't get up. She was completely in hypothermia, so really, in other words, the horse was dead. My daughter, who by that time she finished work and came to support me and to see Bubbles. It's obvious that she believed in her God. And since she believed in her God, she must have prayed that He gets her better, that He gets her up. The vet started to draw the injection up, so within a few seconds, bubbles would have gone. But all of a sudden, there she was. The vet and me turned back, and there she was, standing up. Even the vet, he said, "How? Why? What?" I didn't know the power of God because I didn't believe in Him. Now I know that was His power. I walked over, bewildered, not understand, completely confused about what happened. But there she was. The God I know now knows that at that time I needed truth. So He proved to me. By there she was standing up. As I walked over to give her a cuddle, I never forget one thing my daughter said. "Dad, I know you don't believe in anything, but if this is not a miracle, I don't know what you consider a miracle." She said, "Father's Day is coming. At least come and thank Him." She attended the church, the 21st century church. So we agreed that on Father's Day, I will come with her and I will say thank you to her God. We went to the church, and one thing that surprised me straight away was that people were outside giving you a welcome. They're God's people. They love you. They don't know me. How can they love me? Now I know that they love me through God, through Jesus. When the sermon finished, we walked out, and I remember Anne-Marie saying, "How did you find it, Dad?" I said, "It's good." She said, "What do you think of it? Would you want to come again?" I said, "You know your dad. He never makes decisions straight away. So I'll think about it." During that fortnight, God never gave up. He kept on, kept saying, "I'm here. The door is open. You can see where I am. Now it's your choice." He always gives us a choice. So He gave me the choice. I felt somebody telling me, "This is your family." And I found it. That person was Jesus. Jesus is in the church. Jesus is with us. And we take Him with us when we leave because we are His church. Our body becomes His church when we're on the outside. God never gave up on me. He was always there. Even whatever life I had then, good or bad, He was always there behind me.
And so how do we make sure that we are reaching the one? That we're not just making ourselves comfortable, but remaining mission-minded? Well, there's a practical element attached to it. In Isaiah 54, we read as God speaks to Israel and says, "Enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords. Strengthen your stakes. For you will spread out to the right and to the left." This is the bottom line. In order to accommodate more people, we need a bigger tent. We have to have room for expansion. Perhaps the often overlooked ones are the little ones. In many church cultures, there may be offered a babysitting program in order to make sure the parents are okay, but they are not an afterthought. At 21cc, they are at the forefront of our minds. We take each and every child as an honour and a responsibility as they are put in our charge and our care. Proverbs 22 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he will not depart from it." The influence that we have over this youngest generation is incredible. If we are successful in instilling in them a love of God, of His church and His people at this young age, then they are far more likely to walk into the God-given destiny that He has placed on each and every one of their lives. But the reality is this: if the tent remains small, then our influence is capped. But we have a plan.
So we've seen a big difference in Kids Church since about 2 years ago when we brought in some new resources. We're using Hillsong Big curriculum, and the children respond really well to it. In fact, we've seen growth in Kids Church. The children love the DVD resources, they love singing the memory verses, they love the sketches with Funny Man Dan and the team. They're starting to respond really well to our worship sessions, and they love the games that we play. There are some issues that we've got. For example, space. On a Sunday morning, it's a real rush to put everything up downstairs to make it child friendly, make an exciting environment for the children to come into. And at the end of the morning, we've got a rush to put everything away. Things get thrown into boxes. We don't have the luxury of being able to leave them up or have them ready for the following week. Likewise, when we come upstairs, we've got a big pool table that's in the way of very young children running around. The crash facilities, yes, although it's a lovely corner of a room, ideally that needs to be a more permanent area for our children. And for example, they have to be brought up and down the stairs, children, if they need the toilet. So really we need more space so that we can make it just more child friendly and inviting for children and families to come every Sunday and during the week. The resources that we have are amazing, and the children love it. They respond really well to it. It's got amazing visuals, it's got printable resources, it's got DVDs, it's great. However, unfortunately, as with everything, it comes with a cost, and the curriculum generally lasts for 12 weeks. So it's something that we need to be buying in on a regular basis. We want our children on a Sunday, the ones who come now, we want them to grow to know Jesus for themselves. We want them to have a deeper relationship with them as they grow spiritually and as they grow in age. We want them to stay in church. We want them to follow on into our youth ministry, and we want them to know Jesus for the rest of their lives. But whilst they're here and we're sowing the seeds into their hearts, we also want that to happen for children who don't know Jesus at all, who've never set foot inside a church building. We want them to come in, and we want them to know Jesus for the rest of their lives too.
The church owns the property next door, number 2 Penteporth Road. And this time, instead of renting it to tenants or selling it for the comfort of cash flow, we are determined to keep it in the kingdom. And so we want to transform it, refurbish it, design it to be strategically and specifically made for children. It will be bespokely designed from the garden to the creche facilities that every child is taken care of. No longer will we have divided rooms to try and cater for all ages, but we will be strategic and have designated zones for the age groups. This will be an extension of the church. It means that Kids Church has the room for the expansion that is already happening. It means that for every child that comes through our doors on a Sunday, they have room. They are safely taken care of. They're going to have an awesome time. They're going to grow in friendships, have fun, and learn about Jesus and his house. Not only does it help our Kids Church, but we are planning to open the nursery for midweek use. It will be run as a non-profit organisation, run as a nursery. This means that our influence will grow even further. It means that children from the width and breadth of the town will come and learn and grow in a church-run business, run with a Christian ethos. Not only are we reaching the children, but we are going to be reaching and influencing their families and the wider community. Through mums and toddlers groups, singing and sign, and all those other kind of options, the doors that will then be open, we will have a greater influence on the community at large. Church, this project gives us room to grow. It increases our influence. It increases our financial sustainability, and it enables us to reach the little ones, to tell them they are welcome to come, just as Jesus commissioned us to do so. So, would you partner with us in prayer, in finances, and in any other way that you can, in order to make this dream a reality? All for the one.
I'm Ian Besson. I'm 19 years of age. I'm originally from Newport, but I study in Carmarthen, doing personal training, and I play rugby flat out every single week. I've played for district and national level. Before I come to church, or before I had any perception of church, I thought that it was, you go to church, you sing hymns, you listen to somebody read from the Bible, and that's it. There's no fun, no entertainment, nothing to do with it. But obviously now I started coming to church, and I've realised that you can have fun in church. You can meet new people, you can interact with people, and they're not these crazy weird people. They're genuinely your friends who know you and they care about you, and they want to see you grow in your Christianity and your faith. When I joined 21cc, my first ever preach, I walked in and I was a bit shocked. I didn't know what was going on. Why is everyone jumping around? Why is everyone so happy? Why is there nobody in suits and sat on pews and stuff? But no, we walked in and it was good. There was a nice atmosphere. Everybody was so welcoming when I walked in. I think it might have been Steph that preached the first one, and when he preached, he just spoke to me. Like, I felt like he was speaking directly to me rather than to a big congregation. I felt like it was going to me. I was this kind of proper rugby lad that used to go out every week, have parties, go out on a Wednesday, go out on a Saturday, just literally a stereotypical rugby lad that would never do anything that was good apart from himself. I got introduced to youth. I met a friend in uni who introduced me to like Hillsong and Life Church and Elevation and stuff. I listened to a couple of Stephen Furtick preachers and watched a couple of conferences on Hillsong, and it just backed it up again that, wow, they're actually having fun. So I asked her, I said, any chance I could come down to one of your services in church? I came down, met everybody, shook everyone's hands. I was a bit nervous, very nervous actually. I thought everyone would look at me and be like, who's this? Why is he here? Like, what's going on? But everyone was really welcoming. Listened to the preach. Like I said, the preach spoke to me. And I spoke to Geraint afterwards and introduced myself and everything. And since then, I've been hooked on going to church. The first time I felt God speak to me directly is in an appeal. I put my hand up in an appeal after can't remember whose preacher it was, but I put my hand up in an appeal, and when I spoke to Gary after he explained it, it was like you and God, and it was like putting your hand up was like the touching of the two, and he'd planted the seed for your faith to grow from it. That was the first time it happened, and then I remember really distinctively in Rock Nations about 3-4 weeks ago. It was over 3 days, and the last day spoke to me like personally because Peter Toggs asked everybody to come up the front, get down on their knees, and when you stood up you had to declare your love for Jesus. Once everyone had done that, they called all the youth leaders down and the youth pastors down afterwards to pray over the youth that were on the floor. And I come up and I think I prayed over Elliot. And just, I don't know where it come from, prayed for about 5-10 minutes over Elliot. When I went back, as I was walking back to my seat, Peter Toggs was talking about how you know you've had a connection and how you know how to take it. And I was walking back and seeing James and Miles, and I was like physically shaking, my hands were going, and like it was an unbelievable, unexplainable thing that happened. I was just couldn't control it, and I think it probably happened until we got back to the hotel, and I like sat down, chilled, and thought about it, and spoke to James about it because I was sharing with James in the room. I spoke to James about it, and it was just like he explained to me, and then it all clicked into one play. Then it all come together, and I understood it all. And being in church isn't all good. There are difficulties, there are setbacks. I've witnessed a few myself. I've had a few against me myself. Being a rugby player, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do when you go into your change rooms or your mates find out that you go to church on a Sunday and the reason you're not staying behind on a Saturday to play is because you go to church on a Sunday. I've had a lot of stick for it. I've had my fair bit of banter, should we say, about it. But it's just about like sticking to your guns, sticking to your faith, turning around to them and saying, no, there is a reason I'm doing it. This is the reason I'm doing it. And like, no matter what you say, I'm gonna carry on going forward in my faith and keep excelling in my faith. I'm not from a Christian family. Like, my mother and father have never gone to church. My grandparents haven't gone to church. My siblings don't go. But when I told my family about it, my mother was okay about it. My father in particular was a bit again, like, why you joined in a cult? Like, what's this cult thing all about? But again, like, he doesn't know what our church is really like, because all he's witnessed is the really old churches where you sit on pews, you sit like in suits and read from the Bible every single week. But like, he doesn't know what it's really like. Whereas I think if I could get him to come just once, he might realise, oh, this isn't a cult. Like, this is a really tight group of people who are really friendly, know what they're on about, and they're not pushing it in your face all the time. It's like gone slowly, like you can blend into it slowly, and it's not like you will believe, you will do this, you will do that, straight in your face. So I feel like that's another challenge. If I can get him to understand it, then I could get anybody to understand it, because he's so against it. But it's definitely, like, I'm definitely going forward. I'm trying to evangelise him. I'm trying to just get him to understand, just leaving books discreetly places so he can just like have a little look, or leaving things on the TV for a couple of minutes longer so he has to wake up and turn it on and it's on. Like, it's just little things. It's not like pushing it in his face, but you know, it's just, oh, that's on again. I watch it for a little bit, and it gets longer and longer, and before you know it, he's like, oh, I might pop down to church. I might come and have a look for 5 minutes. And if he comes to see it once and he likes it, then who knows where it'll go from there. But
let us be a house that reflects the heart of heaven, being in relentless pursuit of the one that is lost. Jesus is the head of the church, and he is the head of this house. So let's follow his lead, for he is the one who never leaves the one behind.